What's going on to our Sens fans? This is February 6th, and that was our 12th game of the season against the Montreal Canadiens. And we lost 2-1. It was one of our better games again. A lot of improvement as the games go on. There's not really a whole lot to talk about in terms of how the game ended up, really. It was a really high-shot game, low-scoring. Goalies just dominated this game.
I kind of felt like it was sort of slow. I thought in the second period, the Habs were they were the better team for the first half of the game, and I think Ottawa was a better team in the second half.
Yeah.
But when the Sens started to pour it on, like the Habs, I think they went. It was something like they had 4 shots, like since the middle of the second period or something like that. Like, and they finished.
I'm pretty sure it was they had 13 minutes into the third period was their last shot, or into the second period was their last shot.
Yeah.
And then they got 3 early shots in the third, and then Ottawa took 8 more shots.
Well, they had 26 shots for the longest time, and then they finished with 32. So
at the end of the third, they got
so like that might be a bit of a mix of afternoon game. Habs not playing their best, but Sens look good. I'll take that loss any day of the week.
Yeah, like if that's how we're gonna be playing, I don't care if we don't win another game. Like it's worth watching that hockey.
Two posts. Like the Zaitsev deflection and then Tkachuk deflection.
Yeah, and besides that, there were a lot of good opportunities. It was just Jake Allen was standing on his head, and he stole that game from Montreal.
Definitely, yeah. He didn't like rob anyone really. He just made the saves.
He made all of the perfect saves, and
like right at the end when they were pressing, and he makes that save where he caught it. Instead of letting it rebound, Kachuk's right in front, so he just slowed the play down like that, and it was tough to get one by him, but still a good game.
I think Jake Allen's one of the best backup goalies in the league.
Yeah,
I would argue that Marc-Andre Fleury is the best, but even that is closer than most would think.
Yeah. I mean, Fleury and Leonard, like I don't know what they're doing this year, but they're kind of 1A, 1B, right?
Yeah.
But Allen's the backup, no doubt.
As a strict backup, he's the best backup in the league
for sure. So I guess you want to start with the first period?
Yeah. It was like you said, Montreal took over the first half of the game, but more specifically the first half of the first period.
Mm-hmm.
That first 10 minutes wasn't great for Ottawa, which we talked about last time, that we need to win that first 10 minutes. They didn't score right away, but we definitely didn't win that first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, questionable penalty call on Brandstrom.
Yeah.
But it was a odd night for the officials, I think.
Yeah, it was. And
afternoon, sorry.
Yeah, and so I was upset about the Brandstrom call. The puck was between his legs, and Brandstrom didn't even hit him. He just boxed him out.
He stood his ground. He stood his ground.
So
I thought that was really soft. And then the Romanov one, sorry. I tuned in right when Petrie scored. Was that the Brandstrom penalty on that power play?
No, it wasn't. That was
okay.
Oh, I can't remember what penalty that was. I can find that right here. But either way, like it was, the officiating just wasn't good enough this game.
No, and I mean, the Sens had their fair share of power plays. It wasn't like it was, and Montreal fans aren't too happy about that on Twitter. There's a lot of talk about Stützle, and he drew 3 penalties tonight. 2 high stickings, and then I guess technically that one at the end, but
he got up and fought them all off.
The first high stick on him, I thought a little bit of embellishment, but when you feel like, regardless of if it hits you, if you feel the stick on your face, like that's a penalty. It's not supposed to be up that high. So if he flinches his head back to sell it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the second one was a slash in the face.
Yeah, that wasn't a high stick at all. That was a slash, and I hate. And that they do that to such a young guy coming into the league. I'm sure that every Habs fan would be so upset if somebody did that to Romanov.
You could tell that they were definitely playing him harder tonight.
Yeah,
like there was more an emphasis on watching him because that's what he's gonna have to deal with going forward. And he didn't have a standout game tonight, or I keep saying tonight, man. Afternoon games are weird.
Yeah.
He didn't have a standout game, but he was still, he had a couple bursts. He had a great third period. I find his third periods are always the best. I don't know why.
Like he always just comes out and he wants
Yeah.
it. Like he wants to win. He just
Likes the big moment. So
I do think it was the second penalty Ottawa got. It was Thomas Chabot roughing on Romanov. Roughing on Romanov.
Okay.
He just knocked his helmet off in the corner.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to make a comment on that because I saw a lot of people saying, whether they're just joking or not, it was funny. But Romanov's helmet doesn't fit him because like it came off pretty easily in that corner.
Yeah.
And on the bench, he never has it on.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get an Ottawa's goal, that power play. My God.
Yeah. At the beginning of the game, that power play was lethal.
It struggled later, but man, so it was the power play where they scored. That first unit comes out and looks great, right?
Yeah.
Like they're moving the puck around, zipping it, which I feel like they've been doing all year, but they just struggle on entries. But entries weren't a problem tonight or today.
For the first two periods, they weren't.
Yes. But then the second unit comes out and it looks so different with Brandstrom.
I know, like having Brandstrom out there instead of Mike Riley changes everything. Like Mike Riley, sure, he can make some good plays and he's good on the rush and whatnot, but sitting there at the point, he's not who you want to be making plays with.
No.
But Brandstrom, oh my God. Like just watching him take those shots, I almost want to see him on the first power play and Chabot on the second.
I was just going to say that. Like there's no, and that second unit, even with you got Norris, White looked great tonight.
Yep.
And
then you got Paul and any combination of Tierney, Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So having Brandstrom there, it just, and the way I said this, I tweeted it, like the way he gets pucks through is just, it's phenomenal,
Yeah.
And even if he's missing the net, like it'll bounce off the net and then whoever's in front, like it just causes havoc, which is what you want on a power play. So that was good to see for the first couple of periods anyways.
I am falling in love with this power play, and we'll talk about it a little more in the third period in a few minutes. But for the first half of this game, that power play was incredible. Like watching Brady Tkachuk take those faceoffs like a monster. He was 75%, 1-6, took 8. And then having Dadonov on there with the way he's playing now, I think he looked excellent this game. And it didn't show up on the score sheet, but nothing did tonight.
Yeah, man, I really want him to get one,
Yeah.
Because you can tell, like, he had a great second period. He kind of was the start where they started getting their legs back.
Yeah,
he was the only one with legs, and there was that one shift he had that just, and then from there on out, they were playing great hockey. So if he can get one to go in, then like, it's just that motivation, I guess, to do that.
Yeah.
I don't.
And one thing I noticed while watching this, especially watching the power play, was that Brady Tkachuk is Jerome McGinley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they mentioned that on the broadcast.
Yeah, because they mentioned Jerome McGinley always taking the faceoffs on the power play, being a great winner at faceoffs. And Brady Tkachuk, he's just such a brute force that can score points.
It's
and
lethal.
Do whatever he wants. Like I never really thought of it being that way, but I think Jerome McGinley is a perfect comparison for Brady Tkachuk. For
sure. And I mean, maybe not. Well, I mean, and McGinley was the captain, so
yeah. And McGinley, his first 6 or 7 years, he didn't put up more than 70 points, and then he put up 90 something, and then just 80s and 70s. I think that's realistic for Brady.
No, yeah, for sure. I think he can definitely get. He every time I feel like he's just gonna break out offensively one year. You're right. And he could pot 40 goals with all the chances he gets.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He has the highest goals expected, and that's because he's always getting all the shots from right up close that don't have a good chance of going in. But he's just there all the time. They're not always high danger opportunities.
Yeah,
but there's just so many opportunities. They're bound to go in.
I think he needs, the one thing with him is when he's in front, he just needs he has obviously great hands and he's good with the puck. If he could just get a little quicker with the things he does, because he'll do something and then the goalie will react because it's a little too slow.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm thinking like the between the legs play, that's gonna go in eventually, but it's
you just got to get
does
quicker with it.
A little too slow if he does it quicker, and obviously he knows that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he struggled a little bit in the third period though. Like on that one power play, that was it. When they didn't score on that power play, it was over pretty much. But he drew the penalty. He did a great job drawing the penalty.
Yep.
On Sherratt. But man, yeah, he gave it up behind the net, and then that turnover in front, like you could see him too. He's like, "Oh my god, why did I make that pass?"
Yeah, he was frustrated with himself. He wanted to win that game. That was a game that they weren't out of reach of for the first time in a while that they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, the team did look really good. You have Brady Tkachuk having a couple hiccups in the third, Thomas Chabot with a few hiccups, but like, yeah, not enough to complain about really.
Honestly, it was kind of the same game that they played against like on Thursday, pretty much. You know, not much different team wise. Because the goals that Price let in on Thursday were soft. Like he shouldn't have let them in. They were great shots and everything, but it was just shooter beating goalie, which isn't ideal. And tonight that didn't happen. Or today, I swear I've said tonight like 10 times. I'm saying it more than I usually do for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, you're perfectly right.
Yeah,
it's Yarmouk TSS here said that Tkachuk needs to focus more offensively and less hung goon stuff, and I think not necessarily more, just kind of keep working on it. He's only 21. With the goon stuff, I think I don't have any problems with any of the stuff I find he's doing lately.
I think it depends on what you define as goon stuff. Like he shouldn't be fighting in games like this, right?
Yeah,
which he didn't, which is good.
Yeah.
But if goon stuff means, you know, getting in under Shea Weber and Ben Sherratt's skin all game, by all means, right?
Yeah.
You know, he was mixing it up a little bit. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, especially if he doesn't have to be the guy offensively. He shouldn't have to be.
No.
That's Stützle. So, I mean, I agree with that to an extent. He shouldn't be, and especially if you got Watson and Goodbranson, like all these tough guys in the lineup that should be doing that, then there's no reason to. But it's the way he plays, so it's not gonna. You know, I feel like if he doesn't play like that, he's not gonna be as effective as he would be normally.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like that's what we drafted him to do. Like
exactly,
he's pesky. Like you don't want, like, you're not going to go say to Brad Marchand, stop licking people and score more goals.
Right.
Like,
well, maybe stop licking.
But like, yeah, like that's what he does.
Yeah.
And then we got Sens fan 111 saying, do you agree TJ Smith made a Boucher type play calling out the goalie too late? Yes and no. Yes, the goalie was pulled too late, and that's a Boucher thing to do. But there wasn't much opportunity, and when there was, then 10 seconds later they had to put him back in for another face-off.
They didn't have good enough possession, and even when he pulled him, it was, I mean, so too late. But I don't want him pulling him on that 4-minute power, or when they have the power play with 4 minutes left. Like that's too early, I think. Yeah,
that's too early, and then there was no other opportunities. So,
but I mean, then you get a 6-on-4. Maybe if it was a minute later, I would say do it.
Yeah.
Just because you'll have possession and stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't think it was too late. I can't even remember. Was Boucher like notorious for doing that? I can't even.
Not necessarily notorious. He just kind of like, that was kind of his way of doing it. It was usually just too little, too late, and then as soon as Ottawa gets something going, the game's over.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it was too late. There just kind of wasn't a better opportunity.
Okay.
So those penalties, like, I'm surprised that they called what they did tonight, especially with the way it started.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Montreal's a hard team to play against with Ben Sherratt, Josh Anderson, Corey Perry. Like, that's a tough team to play against.
They're tough.
Yeah.
You know, like they're
Like
they're just
physically, yeah.
big defensemen, and
Yeah, and then you got Shea Weber, Joel Edmondson.
yeah,
Like they're gonna rough you up.
even Petrie is a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
And Romanov, like look at what Romanov did to Shabbat yesterday.
Romanov hits so much and
Yeah.
hard too. He's a wrecking ball out there, which is you know, as a rookie too, like it's pretty impressive that he's just throwing the body around so much.
Yeah, and I said that in our last video. Like, I
Mhm.
can't even be mad at Romanov throwing that check at Shabbat because,
No,
like, that's impressive that a
was
rookie has that confidence.
perfectly clean and yeah, I mean, and on his penalty, like the roughing penalty it was on Galchenyuk, I think, in front.
Yeah.
Like he just flattened him, right?
Yeah,
like just things like that. And I mean, so I haven't seen it yet, but there was a couple in the third period, especially a lot of calls that went against the Canadians.
yeah, it seems
So
like
Twitter will be interesting to see, but you know, at the end of the day, like NHL refs usually like to balance it out, you know. And I feel I feel like that Shabbat penalty wouldn't have been called if there were so many against, like if there weren't so many against Montreal.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you know, every penalty that Montreal took was a penalty. Like there wasn't any.
Yeah, they argued
questionable
every one of them.
Exactly, and I don't understand the I saw so there's this account on Twitter. It's called "Here's Your Replay." Yeah, I'm sure like everyone's seen it, and the
Yeah.
person running it is a Habs fan. So they showed the high stick on Stützle and slowed it down to like the like as slow as it can go, and so Stützle lifted his stick,
Yeah.
like just to kind of hit it out of the way, and then it hits him in the face.
Yeah.
So they were like, this shouldn't have been a penalty, but you still have to have control of your stick, right?
Yeah, always.
If if you're skating and the player steps on your blade, right, it's still a tripping penalty.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's the rule. So I don't know why why they're complaining about that.
There's no argument. He hit him in the face with his stick.
If I'm Montreal, I'm a little bit pissed about the Goodbranson hit though. Because that was a little.
Yes.
It's a little questionable, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's suspended, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he isn't. It's kind of like one of those ones.
So it was a huge hit on Jake Evans.
Mhm.
Jake Evans got taken out of the game probably by the concussion watchers.
Yeah.
He had a bloody nose on the bench, but
he came back though.
Yeah, he did come back,
which is important.
I guess we'll probably hear more on that after the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tough decision to suspend him or not, because the contact was from his shoulder all the way down to like his forearm.
Yeah.
And it hit his head and Jake Evans' chest at the same time. Like,
by the rule book, the only problem the reason it's a bad hit is because the way Goodbranson kind of cuts across.
Yeah.
So he looks like he's clipping him. He didn't jump. He like raised his body up. Goodbranson's like what, like 6'4"?
6'4", I think, yeah.
He's huge. So he raises up. The principal point of contact was not the head, even if he does hit the head, right?
Yeah.
So by the rule, that's why I won't be surprised if he's not suspended, because by the rule book, if the principal point of contact is the body, which it was, then he's fine.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, it's really iffy there.
But I will say that it was one of those ones like he had dumped it in and the camera starts to pan, and as he's panning, Goodbranson goes and hits him. It looked really bad on first, like right away. I was like, oh,
the whole
boy.
Speed is going this way and they're going this way. So.
Yeah, right away. I just saw the head snap back kind of. I'm like, okay, this is like he's gone for that one or something. But
yeah.
So yeah, maybe a couple things. But again, Habs can be mad about the calls all they want, but Ottawa was carrying the play, right?
Yeah, all the time.
You don't get penalties or you don't get power plays if you're not having the puck. And Montreal had 4 shots in like there are 6 shots since the middle of the second period or something crazy.
Yeah, like they just weren't offensively there. Right,
which is what happens when they were sitting on the lead probably in the third, because I guess we could talk about the third period goal by Anderson.
Yeah. Who assisted that? Who was it that passed it to him?
Well, it was like 3 shots. Drouin shot the first one. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Suzuki. I think it was Suzuki.
Yeah, I think it was Suzuki.
Yeah, he's good.
But yeah, it was just a whole everything going on in front of the net. And
Well, yeah, that was obviously can't blame Murray. Like,
no, he made two
make
big
one save,
saves
two
right there.
saves. Right, the third one, Stutzel got a little bit lost on that one. Like he probably should have just puck watching a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's young, he'll learn. Yeah, and Jarmock says, click that. Yeah,
Yeah, someone does have to clear that puck.
Exactly.
And Josh Anderson, all the power to him. He was in the great spot for that goal. Did exactly what he had to do. But like you're saying, somebody had to clear it. We didn't do what we had to do.
And it sucks because, I mean, in the second half of the game, that's like the one mistake that the Sens made, let's say, in there. Or not the one, but it felt like the one, and it ends up in the back of their net. And then how many chances like that did the Sens have that didn't go in? It's just one of those games like that. Yeah,
it was tough. And the game ended with the shots 35-32. But again, that doesn't dictate how that game went. Bounces could have completely changed this game. It could have been a 6-4 game for either team.
Yeah, for sure.
And still couldn't blame it on goalies. It was just such a odd game because nobody was doing anything wrong all game, but nobody was doing anything spectacular.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm like trying to brainstorm, like, who are my 3 stars?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing because everybody was kind of on the same level.
Yeah. No one really stood. I mean, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start from the top down.
Sure.
Because that's easier. I've got Murray as the first star again.
Yeah.
It's just, the beginning of the game could have been a wash. It could have been one of those nights again, but
18 shots in the first they had.
Right. And just 938 save percentage. Like this guy, he needs to just keep stringing these together. And they're playing Edmonton next, right? Oilers are coming to Ottawa on Monday. That's a huge game for him because he struggled in Edmonton, obviously. So
he wants them back.
If he can, have just outplay the other goalie, all you need. Because you're not gonna have, if he puts up these numbers against Edmonton, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
He probably won't, right?
No, realistically.
So if he can string some of these are great games for him going into that series. Second star, I'm gonna go with Norris because every game that I've done this twice where I've been like on this stream, I say, hey, you know what, Norris wasn't great last night or that game, and the next game he comes out and he's flying. So maybe he's listening, I don't know, but I just like the way he was skating. He got an assist on that was a great play. I guess we didn't even talk about that goal, but it was a great play on White's goal where he just kind of poked it to Stepan, and Stepan makes a good pass.
Yeah, just so much smart plays today.
Yeah. He just had his legs. He had his legs, and he was had a couple shots. How was he on the faceoffs though? 57%.
Everybody on our team was over 50% tonight. Yeah,
faceoffs were big for sure. So I got Norris as the second, and I'll go Colin White for the third star. Just
fair
nice
enough.
Finish. He was skating tonight too. We're saying tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight now.
It's tonight.
Well, by the time if you're watching this on YouTube, perfect.
There we go. Yeah, so it adds up. I did like White.
Yeah, he did play a great game as well. Looking now, he only had 4 faceoffs tonight. That's kind of strange.
So he was with. I mean, who was he with? The lines are so fluid; they move around so much.
And it's so hard when you can't see power play time and whatnot, like just 5-on-5 time.
Well, I've got Actually, I've got the power play time. He had 256 of power play time.
That's pretty good.
But that second unit, they're not out there for many face-offs, right? They're probably out there for 40 seconds tops.
Yeah, really though.
So I guess that makes sense.
And again, that second unit, just dominant tonight with him on there. And it's really nice because he's playing up to his contract now. I even saw some people saying Colin White's making his contract look affordable now.
Yeah, I saw that. Or someone said it's too affordable or something.
Yeah. Making Nathan McKinnon's contract look bad.
Yeah.
But our editor Riley says he'll have it up tonight, so that's good.
Perfect. There we go. Tonight.
But so my 3 stars. I'm gonna go. I'll do the same as you. First star, I'll go Murray again.
Yeah.
And I would have called myself crazy if I said that my next first stars would be Matt Murray.
Yeah.
After that Edmonton game,
Yeah.
but like just lights out. And against Montreal, first team in the league as of yesterday or Thursday. Yeah, Matt Murray, lights out. That's
For sure.
what we need from him. Second star, I'm going to go to Eric Brandstrom. He's just creating so much out of not necessarily nothing, but just everything. He's always finding a way to make offense. And I saw a lot of people tweeting and everything that he's not necessarily going to be a good offensive defenseman, but he's going to be a good puck-moving defenseman.
Yeah.
Look at tonight. Proved you wrong.
It proved you wrong. And, it doesn't make sense that you can be a good puck-moving defenseman, but not a good offensive defenseman.
Yeah, like I don't even understand that.
Because moving the puck to the forwards is going to get you an assist. Like, it's just, if you're moving the puck, you're going to be involved in the offense. So, I mean, I think it was before the game. It was DJ was saying, I love TSN 1200. They just tweet out all the quotes. Like,
I love that.
I just love reading them. Right, so much different reading them than hearing them.
Yeah.
But DJ said something about he's more confident. He's in better shape. Like, he got stronger. He's in better shape.
Yeah,
and you don't even take that into account, right? Like,
I saw Derek Lee tweeted out that Eric Brandstrom must have been living in a gym all summer.
Yeah. But it's things like that where it's you don't even think that they're all pro athletes. Of course, they're in great shape, but they can always take it to another level or change something. Tweak in some kind of workout routine that just makes all the difference. And Brandstrom looks great this season for sure.
Yeah, he figured something out during the summer that really changed his game.
Yeah.
And so for my third star, I'm gonna stick in the similar fashion. Drake Batherson. He's just looking dynamic, and every time he has the puck, something great happens. And like, he's just making such great plays in the offensive zone. He's not very noticeable in the defensive zone usually, which is a great thing for a first line young winger.
Yep.
If you don't notice him, he's not doing anything wrong. So
he's becoming like a elite playmaker. Every time it's on his stick, you better get open.
Yeah, he's got the eyes to just make anything out of nothing.
Yeah, so I'd like to see him shoot a little bit more.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say next. Like, he's only got the one goal on the season, and it wasn't. I don't remember what it was, but I feel like it wasn't like a snipe from the hash.
No, it was. It was against Edmonton.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Really, it was. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he's fully capable of doing that, and like, I feel like he fans on more shots than anybody.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, it always just seems like when the puck is going to him and it looks perfect, it either gets lost in his feet or he misses the blade or whatever.
He doesn't have the quickest release. He just
he doesn't.
Which is something he'll work on. He's young too. But I agree. He played great tonight this afternoon.
Tonight. So I don't really have much else.
Me neither. Yeah, I guess we could do who needs to be better. I don't really have anyone, to be honest.
I really don't. I will throw in Austin Watson there.
Sure.
He looked fine while he was playing tonight. He just, especially after Kulak slashed Stützle in the face.
Yeah,
I really expected something out of Watson. It wasn't. He wasn't on the ice in the moment, so it's kind of hard to find a situation. But it was really funny because right after, like, the next whistle after that, Watson was on the ice, and there was a whistle, and Romanov hit Watson into the end boards, and Watson pushed Romanov out of the way and skated after Kulak and grabbed him by the jersey. And then on the next play, Watson went up to Romanov and just put his arm around him, standing in front of the net.
Yeah, I saw that too. I really like Watson, and I've been saying this. He just brings that energy. He 8 minutes on the ice tonight, so not a ton, but if I'm DJ, I throw this exact same lineup out against Edmonton
for the rest of the year. Like,
yeah, I mean,
when Melanin comes back, hopefully against Edmonton, then maybe. Obviously, Mike Riley is going to be the guy to come out. You're not going to take Brandstrom out after this play.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, they're just, this team is buzzing right now. They got shut down tonight, but they're hot.
The key will be I think the next game is like not a must win, but if they can win that one, then they'll start to feel like their play is actually,
getting better.
Yeah, again, they have reward. They're getting rewarded. Excuse me, for their play. So, and Edmonton is not like they're gettable. Like they can.
They're not that much
goals.
better than us as a team.
Right, they scored 7 goals on them in 2 games. So they're not very good defensively. And Stützle 2 goals in 2 games against them. So we'll see. Maybe he gets back on the scoring.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for tonight.
Yeah, me too. I got nothing more to add, pretty much.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody who tuned in to watch this live, and thank you to everybody who's going to watch this recording. This is Jack and Jacob, and thanks for watching.